So students, last time we studied composition of soil, and I told you that soil consists of 45% inorganic matter, 5% organic matter, 20 to 30% air, or I can say soil air, and 20 to 30% water. So in last lecture we studied in detail the inorganic minerals of the soil, and we had also discussed regarding organic matter in the soil. And in continuation to that, I mean to say that organic matter of the soil may further contain non-nitrogenous compounds. As you can see in the screen, I have given the heading non-nitrogenous compounds. So organic matter, I told you earlier that organic matter mainly consists of humus, and which is divided into three groups: humic acid group, fulvic acid group, and humine, depending on the molecular weight. But the organic matter may also consist of some non-nitrogenous compounds along with some nitrogenous compounds. Non-nitrogenous compounds, organic compounds present in the soil include carbohydrates like starch, cellulose, hemicellulose, sugars, and gum, etc. These compounds may also be present in the soil. Next, I am coming to nitrogenous compounds. Nitrogenous compounds mean nitrogen containing compounds. Now the nitrogen containing compounds in the soil may further be divided into two types. First one are water soluble nitrogenous compounds. As you can see, I have written this in heading 1 in red, and second type of nitrogenous compounds are water insoluble nitrogenous compounds. So water soluble nitrogenous compounds in the soil include ammonical compounds, amino acids, nitrates, and amides. Whereas water insoluble nitrogenous compounds include peptides. Peptides, what are peptides? Peptides are formed by linking different amino acids. For example, if I link one amino acid with another amino acid, then that would be called as diapeptide. If I link or join three amino acids, then they would be known as triapeptides. So water insoluble nitrogenous compounds present in the soil include peptides, proteins, nucleoproteins, alkaloids, purines, pyrimidines, etc. In addition to these, other organic compounds may also be present in the soil in very small amounts, and they include fats, resins, phosphate esters, and waxes, etc. So after discussing two constituents of the soil, that is inorganic minerals and organic matter, I am coming to the third component of the soil, that is soil water. So soil water, as I told you earlier, soil water constitutes about 20 to 30% of the composition of the soil. Now from where does the soil water comes from? Soil water comes from the atmosphere as well as from various physical, chemical, and microbial reactions taking place in the soil. Soil water is present. If I ask you, where is soil water present in the soil? Soil water is present in the soil in pore spaces between the soil particles. There are empty spaces in between the soil particles. So water is present in between those pores. So I can say that soil water is present in the soil in pore spaces between the soil particle. So these pores, or I can say soil, act as a sponge to take up and retain water, because these pores can release water at the time of requirement and can absorb if it comes from outside. So they act as a sponge, and the water holding capacity of the soil depends on its texture as well as on the organic matter present in the soil. For example, clay soil is having highest water holding capacity. Now I am coming to the functions of soil water. What are the functions that are played by soil water? So first function of soil water is that it plays a role in the photosynthesis in plants after being absorbed by the plants through roots. You are already aware that for photosynthesis water is required, and from where does this water comes? This water comes from roots, from soil, but through roots. Plant absorb the soil water through roots. Second function of soil water is it plays an important role in the diffusion of gases. You know, in the different processes in plants, different gases are released. So soil water plays an important role in the diffusion of gases, in their escape. Next, soil water helps in the movement of salts and nutrients present in the soil. Means the nutrients which are taken up by the plants from the soil, they go into the plants along with water. So soil water helps in the movement of salts and nutrients. And last function of soil water is that various plants and microorganisms present in the soil fulfill their water requirement from the water present in the soil. So these are different functions of soil water. So after this, I am coming to the fourth component of soil, that is soil air. So soil air also constitutes about 20 to 30% of the composition of the soil, and soil air is also stored in the soil just like water. Means soil air is stored in the soil in pores. So soil air is obtained from the atmosphere as well as from various reactions taking place in roots or plant roots, as well as reactions taking place in microbes and chemical present in the soil. Soil air keeps on constantly moving from soil pores into the atmosphere and from atmosphere into the soil pores. So I can say that vice versa exchange is there. Hence soil air helps in the aeration of the soil. Next, I am coming to the composition of soil air. Soil air contains, now you know that first before discussing the composition of soil air, I am coming to the composition of atmospheric air. You already know that atmospheric air contains nitrogen, oxygen, means a mixture of gases are there, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapors, etc. So I am studying the composition of air here, or I am telling you the composition of soil air in relation to atmospheric air. So soil air contains greater percentage of CO2 and water vapors as compared to that in the atmospheric air, and amount of, or I can say percentage of nitrogen and oxygen present in the soil air is less as compared to that in the atmospheric air. I am giving you the figures. So soil air contains 0.03% CO2, while atmospheric air contains 0.03% CO2. So you can see here that the CO2 percentage in soil is higher as compared to that in the atmospheric air. And if I talk about oxygen, oxygen in the soil air is present in 20.60% as compared to that in atmospheric air, which contain almost 21%. 20.97% is its exact value. So amount of nitrogen present in the soil is slightly less as compared to that in the atmospheric air. And as I had already told you that soil air contains greater amount of water vapors as compared to than the as compared to the atmospheric air. So next I am coming to little bit of discussion regarding micro and macronutrients present in the soil. Although they are inorganic material, but they need to be discussed. So there are almost 20 elements which are considered to be essential for the growth of the plant. Now what is the meaning of essential? Essential means they are not synthesized in the plants, and they are necessary for the growth of the plants. Means if their deficiency is there, the growth of the plant would be impacted. So nutrients of the soil can be divided into two types, or essential elements I can say are divided into two types. One type is macronutrients and second type is micronutrients. So what are macronutrients? Macronutrients, as the name is suggesting, macronutrients are the nutrients which are required by the plants in large amounts, or I can say they are generally required in more than 200 ppm. You can see I have written it in red. So macronutrients are required in quantities generally more than 200 ppm, and there are 9 elements which are considered to be macronutrients, and these include carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, magnesium, phosphorus, sulfur, potassium and calcium. These 9 elements are considered to be macronutrients for the plants. And why they are known as micronutrients? Because all these are required in quantities more than 200 ppm. Next are micronutrients. What are micronutrients? Micronutrients are the nutrients which are required in small quantities. So out of the 20, I can say there are 11 elements which are considered to be micronutrients. And why they are known as micronutrients? Because they are required in small amounts, and the amount of micronutrients that are required by plants is from 0.1 ppm to 200 ppm, and the 11 elements that are considered to be micronutrient are boron, sodium, silicon, chlorine, vanadium, manganese, iron, nickel, copper, zinc and molybdenum. And why they are known as micronutrients? Because they are required in small quantities, and their range or requirement of the plant lies in the range of 0.1 ppm to 200 ppm. So that was all about the composition of soil air. So with this, our topic composition of soil air comes to an end. Thank you.